Hey everybody, before this video starts, I want to just do a full disclosure that the products that you are going to be seeing, some of them were actually given to me by Hafny, the mirror company. I reached out to them and just told them I'm having a problem trying to find out what would be a good mirror for something that could reach past my handlebar size. Their customer service then decided they would send me one just so that I could do a review. I told them that I would be putting it on a YouTube channel, so I wanted to get a way to go ahead and review some of their products, but to find out what they would recommend so we could have a product that have a mirror that actually goes past our bodies where we can see behind us. So this video is the product that they sent me. And I gotta say, even though I got it free and I would try to be unbiased, I absolutely love these mirrors, and I think honestly they are the best mirrors for anybody with shorter handlebars, like mostly the folding bike styles, but especially for the Lectric XP. Hey everybody, in this video I'm going to be reviewing one of the best mirrors that can be used on the Lectric XP or almost any e-bike really, and how easy it is to install these things. Also just covering a couple of the other tools that I'll be using on this. All you really need to get one of these installed on a Lectric XP is a 3mm Allen wrench and a 5mm Allen wrench. One of these. This set here comes with the 5mm. We'll go over that a little later, but with a 3 and a 5mm, you can get this on super fast, really easy. The only reason I'm showing this is because I recently purchased this because doing some of the videos and testing this out, I realized that half the time I was doing a lot of delay or it took a long time because of Allen wrenches like this. So I got one of these, 20 bucks, and it makes things take 1/5 the time. So I want to showcase this because this is a tool that's actually really handy for a lot of just basic maintenance. It also has a torque sensing on it, which is why I'm going to show something that's important on why you also need a real torque wrench. If you're going to be doing a lot of maintenance on your bike, it's probably recommended. I had no idea about these things until I saw some other videos and the explanation of why they're important. So next video, I'm going to go into depth about this tool here. But for now, it's just to basically show you why I'm going to use it and how to use it for something like this. So now let's get started on the installation of putting one of these onto the Lectric XP. If you notice here, it actually has a width that's actually very skinny, and the Lectric XP, I've done some research on it, is probably the skinniest width of handlebars that are out there. This is 570mm or 22.5 inches. Now bikes like the Event and Cinch has almost an extra inch on it, the Enzo, the Rad Runner, so all these folding bikes that have kind of this beanstalk type neck here, they all have a little, even the Rad Runner has 3 extra inches on it, and the Rad Mini has 2 extra inches on it. So, and that extra few inches makes a big difference on spacing that you have here. This is the Hafny HF-M901RS FRO. I'll have the description and the links below, or description below. But these mirrors here, basically they come with just these 3 pieces in the box. Okay, now you can get one of these that actually has this rounder, wider type face, or you can get one of these that actually has a more sleeker look. I've ridden around with both of them, and honestly, I think this one looks better on the bike itself, but this definitely gives you a lot more visibility as far as something this small when you're looking, especially if you're going at 25 miles an hour. And the bike is a little bouncing here and there. Now the mirrors stay pretty stable, but nonetheless, it takes a little longer to focus when the visibility is so much smaller. I think I'm going to prefer something like this, which will probably be, even when I get the Blackbird, it'll end up on the Blackbird on this one. This might stay on here because of this, the smaller view, the way it is. But with this, you will need to move this in. Now, it's very easy to do it. I was a little worried about, moving and touching some of these things here, but I found out that it's actually quite easy to do. And what I would recommend is getting a 3mm, which is what you're going to need, Allen wrench. If you have one that has longer like this, if you need to buy Allen wrenches, I would highly recommend not buying a key set like this. And the reason being is being able to use the long end of this stick here is really helpful, because some things are harder to reach, and then of course you're doing this. If it's longer, you can just spin. And I'll show you a demonstration of that. So let's get rid of that, because like I said, I would not recommend anybody buying one of that. This comes from the bike hand tool set that I have. But you have something like this, right? You can start it by doing an unscrewing here, but once you're under this side, you can actually do a long spin and it'll work that way. I'm going to loosen just this one a little using this here. And then we're going to just loosen it a little bit so that we can just move this over. And even like here, this is a good example of why longer ones are better, so that nothing is in the way. Just kind of loosening it up there. And that's it. It comes off. It's really loose. And that's all you need to do is you're going to be moving it in about a ½ inch there. And you can leave it loose that way. And the next thing you want to do is the 5mm to go ahead and loosen this up. Now, the 5mm not only works for these here, which you will need to have, but it also, the 5mm works for the same as the brake lever here as well. So once it's in here, you're just going to go ahead and just loosen it a little. And that's it. You have this that you can move in, and then you're just going to have to just retighten it. Now, we're not going to tighten it there because, let's go ahead and put this clamp on first. Very easy. Now, this is where I would say this will save a ton of time. This set here is the tech pull, and the reason why I bought this one particularly is because it has kind of like a torque give here. So I set it to something pretty low, between 3 and 5. 3 and 5 is okay, but you can see how fast. Take this off so you don't need to do all the spinning. Literally takes seconds. And then what you'll be doing is you'll be installing. I put the bracket on. This is a spacer. If you have a wider handlebar, you don't need this extra spacer. But this is it's just a piece of plastic that's on the inside. So you can put that on here. And this will go on here, just like this, with the big hole at the top. And the reason why that big hole is there is because this fits right in. Like that. And then with an extra little notch groove that's in this area here, it keeps it from turning. It just, that way it'll stay straight in here. And with that, this can be put in. And then, okay, so I don't make it very tight because I see here it gives away. Then what I do is I can then put it next torque setting where it's tighter. I just want to make sure that it wasn't going crooked, then I can make it even tighter. And then okay, and there, and that's pretty tight there as it is. Okay, now it's not tight all the way down, but I want to make sure that I have everything in place that I want. Now I can go ahead and do this. So I can still move this around a little, and then I'll tighten it down even more later. This here is at the level I want it at. Now this, there is a sheet, for those of you who don't know, Lectric XP recently updated all of their manuals. So if you go to their website, you click on one of the bikes like you're going to buy it, scroll down through all of the specs, you'll see that there's a PDF, and in that PDF is the actual instruction manual, and it's been recently updated. I actually asked them if they had, this used to be the old torque settings, and you can see it's kind of vague. It only has these torque settings, you know, ranges, and this is all that they offered on it. So I actually emailed them and said, hey, do you have specific torque settings that are more specific for different bolts? And from the time that they actually got my email to the time that they responded, all of a sudden I noticed that there was this whole sheet that updated on them, and it's even on a later page, so they updated a lot more. They're probably already doing it, but there is now torque settings for a lot of different things. Now, what a torque setting is, for those who don't know, is that how tight things should be measured by pressure, and that's what the Newton meters are. So basically, the brake lever clamp bolts, all of the stuff that's on this brake area is both 7. So what I do is, on this here, you might be able to see this, but there's a little arrow here, and I put it to actually either 5 or 6 below the 7, because this is not a very sensitive tool in itself. So I'll put it to 5 because I don't want to ever have any of these major ones strip as far as the screws that are in there. And then I, you know, set my brakes, feeling both sides, see what levels I want it at. Okay, that's good here. And then I will put this in, and then it won't go past 5 pressure there, and that's good. So that's a little tight there. It's not all the way. And then of course these here have their own settings as well, and this set also has a 3mm hex, which I will use with an extension because of the way the handlebar is. So I'll stick this together here with the extension, put this in here, and then I will turn this down even more because these screws are really small. For 3mm, I'll actually only need them at probably about a 3 for now, and I'll hand tighten it just so that I'll be to the point where I know that it's tight. And let me see if that's the right place. Okay, because of my phone mount that I know it's going to go there, I usually like to have it where I'm touching mostly, because I only hit this usually once to start it and on it, and I don't need it, so that's good there. And then I will be tightening this one too as well. Yeah, I'd probably even go less, because all I needed to do is be tight enough that this will not swivel, and it doesn't. And this is, I think this is plastic, so I don't want to strip those as well. So anyway, that has everything put in place. Now this is ready to go here. I will then switch this back out to the 5mm and open this up. And with that ball open, I'll show you what the sleek one looks like first. Then I can just go ahead and tighten this up, and it grabs. Okay. And again, you can do it by feeling. I know that it's tight enough. Now, the reason why I think this is one of the best mirrors on the market, especially for the Lectric XP, is because of the distance it comes out after the handlebar. I've already tried it. It works really well. This one too will come out just as far. In fact, maybe, I don't know, maybe a ½ inch, but you get more visibility on these two here. But also, the reason being is that I literally put my bike up against the wall when I park it, that this brings in here, and when it folds, I don't have to worry about this being in the way. You know, it goes, rotates all over the place. The other thing you can do with this is, if you get the opposite side, or even this side in itself, if I loosen this, let me tighten this up a little more, but there's the other range that people do, and they put this way with the mirror going like that. Okay, so they don't have it up, they actually have it down and on the outside. I have not tried riding it this way. I'm not sure if I like looking so low. I like rather, I'm always looking here, my eyes just have to go instead of all the way down here to focus. So I might try it one day to have it down here, but some people do. They like it on, depends on what your style is. Maybe a wider bar, or, you know, I don't know, maybe there's not enough space here, but I like mine up here. So you have that option. And it's totally up to you on how you want to do that. And let's go ahead and screw this back in. But as you can see, this is so much easier than using an Allen wrench and, you know, screwing it around here. That's, now, nothing wrong with that, but this just makes things so much faster. And with that, everything's tight. This will not swivel left and right because of, it was actually a fitted groove that's in here, but this is where you pretty much were going to want it anyway. So this is the installation for this, and this is what it looks like with one side. Now, as you can see here, there is no room to put a Hafny mirror on this side. Even if I took off my bell, I tried putting it on, it does not go past me on this side here. Also, because of this bracket being aluminum, and you can't move this. This is another problem. You really can't move this away because you need your shifters to be available here. The problem with that is this aluminum bracket will actually be angled. So this is from one of the other sets. But if you get this bracket here, because of the angle that this handlebar comes, if it's to come here, it also cannot be right next to here because it has some width. So it has to be a little away from there. What happens is, it becomes angled like this, and you cannot re-angle it further so that it sticks up this high and is not far enough outside of you. So there needs to be another option for that. But I've found that in America anyway, we ride on the right side of the street with cars on our left. So this is the most important. Also in my area, this is basically the only time I'm really looking is, I'm usually looking to my left, because even on the bike trails, I'm riding on the right-hand side, so I want to see if someone's passing me on the left. So that's one thing I've noticed. I only really need a mirror on the left for now. I might consider getting one and maybe finding if it's going to fit, but you know, there is some aesthetic balance. Some people don't like it when there's only one side. It doesn't, to me, functionality wise, I don't need that other one here yet. Plus I have so much junk on top of here anyway. My camera's going to be on here that it's just, this is a pretty busy cockpit. So this is the setup that we have that's going on with just the standard setup here with that's the Hafny mirror. Now they also make these mirrors. These are actually high quality mirrors where they are automotive grade. I also want to show you now this next one here is the combo set, grip set. Before I do that, actually, let me go ahead and actually really demonstrate very quickly what this is for. So with the torque settings that we have at 7 Newton meters of torque, what I would like to do is I actually will then have this set to about 6, just so that I have it at the right setting. I have this already preset so that it's actually a little under 7, about 6, just so that I can have it tight. And then what happens is with a torque wrench, what it does is it actually gives you the right pressure where once it gets tight enough. So what you'll see here is when it gets to a certain pressure and once it hits it, it breaks. It gives a click. If you can see that, it actually is, you can feel it more than you can probably see it, but once it does that, it tightens, and then it gives a click. And that click tells me that I've hit the right pressure and I don't want to go any tighter. And that's basically what a torque wrench does to keep it so that using the settings that comes from Lectric XP and this set to the right setting, then it all does everything safely and as tight as it needs to be. And that goes for every boat where you won't be stripping stuff. And you know, this is the ratings on how you go ahead and set that. But there's going to be a demonstration on that later, but I do actually recommend getting a torque wrench, learning to use one if you're going to be doing just these minor maintenances. Now you don't need it. You can use this, you can tighten it by hand, tighten it to the point where you know that it's tight enough, but don't over tighten any of these because a lot of these are aluminum parts, which means it can strip pretty easily. Now in the meantime, to be a full demonstration on the other stuff, let's go ahead and take this off. And what I want to do is I want to show you now another cool product by Hafny for those of you who don't mind the Lectric XP hand grip. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. This is actually a hot pad that it's one of those warming things, and it's already pretty much warmed up. And what I'm doing is I'm softening the grip. There's a lot of people who have said they cannot remove this grip when they want to change it out. And the problem with changing out this grip is that it won't match what's on the right? The cool thing about the Hafny set here, it comes with 2 of these mirrors, the sleek ones, 2 of the hand grips, and 2 of the arms. Now the arms are all the same amongst all the different sets. Okay, it also comes with the end cap, and this particular set also comes with an Allen wrench, a 5mm, which can adjust, again, I said, the brake, and it can also adjust here. So this is a pretty cool tool to have actually come with it. When this warms up, you can use a hair dryer if you don't have, or maybe get a hot rag. But I found out that after riding for about 20 minutes or so in the sun, it gets soft enough that you can pull this off. It's better to hold parts. You don't want to be pushing any pressure against anything that's sensitive parts here. So just so you know, there. So finally it comes off. But as you can see, it's not a lock type grip. And also it's very difficult to put back on. So if you're going to remove this, make sure you're kind of committed to that depending on what you're going to be getting. Now this Hafny grip set, it only comes in a set of 2. So for Lectric XP owners, if you're going to get one of these, just so you know, you're not going to probably be using the right side because of the throttle system that's here. But if you are going to get one of these, what's cool is the design of this grip is fairly similar and it feels softer. So it's a little thinner as well. Okay, and the thing is, it's not nearly of a battle to get this on as well. So since I've already loosened this and this has been pushed in from the original, as you notice, it will go almost to the end. I'll have to move this in just a little bit more. Okay, so with this pushed in, make sure you have the correct side, which means that the bolt has to be on the top. Okay, so this has already been loosened, pushed in there. What I can do is just stick this on and it'll go right to the end. So the brake will go below the screw here. So what I'm doing is I'm lining up this here. It goes all the way to the end of the grip, because this Hafny plug will go inside here as well. And okay, so it's all the way in. Push this out to there, and this is where everything will line up. Same. Okay. I think it'll be better to place the mirror first. So let's take this out. Okay. So with a grip there, and I know that that's where I kind of want it, it feels like it's ready. All right, and then now my brakes, I'm going to set that next. Okay, and with that, I'm going to use my torque wrench because I know that that's set, because I don't plan to move my brake anymore at that. So I'm going to put it up to where I need to at the Newton meters at just under 7. There, you hear the click? That click means it's good. That's the tightest it should be. It won't move at that point. All right, and then okay, it's straight. That's not going to move. So I'm actually not going to even bother with the torque wrench because that is a light enough setting, and I know I don't ever push on this so hard that it's going to switch. So I'm going to leave it just the way it is, and everything is set the way it needs to be. And the next thing we're going to be doing is putting on my big mirror here, and this can actually be put up to 5 because these screws are about the same. Okay, so now that I have my mount here, get my screwdriver, put it on here, have that tighten on. Again, this will be able to break away. So another safety factor with this mirror here, why I like it so much, is I have seen and actually witnessed people get into accidents because their mirrors are what caught the object that actually make their handlebars and make them crash. This is kind of like a breakaway. So if something were to come and hit it, it actually will give away. Most of the time, because your hands are at the extent of the width of your body or wherever you're riding, you'll be aware and avoid things from hitting your hand. But with something sticking out even further, that's one of the reasons I don't care for the handlebar mounts that come at the end of the mirrors here. If it snags onto something and you hit it, it basically can drag your handlebars to make you go over. They also come with anti-glare styles if you want, which is a blue tint in it. All of my parts put in place and good to go. So I'd be very curious to know, what mirrors do you guys use? Do you agree, disagree with the way that having mirrors like this actually work? Do you like the look of these other ones? Like I said, these work okay as far as the left side mirror and the look of it. That's it for today. Any of the links of any of the products that were actually used today, like the tech pole, this was it's a $20 drill or a screwdriver set, and the torque wrench. Again, the Lexavon, we're going to be doing a review on the Lexavon. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate all of you and for help building out the channel the way it's going. If there's any other suggestions that you guys have, by all means, please put in the comments. I read all of them. It takes me a while to get back because we've gotten so many comments lately, and it's been so awesome of the feedback that I'm getting. Till then, thank you guys again so much. Hope you enjoyed it. Please leave your comments. If you like this video, got anything out of it, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. I'll be getting more bikes to go ahead and do more reviews, not only on the Lectric XP, but other bikes. Just right now, this is what I got to demonstrate certain things, so this is what I'm using. But I'll also be getting more bikes to go ahead and do different type of demos on that. So until then, have a safe ride, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks.